I know a lot of you guys are waiting to hear on more Metroid information, whether it be the Metroid Prime Trilogy that I feel like is inevitably going to be coming to fruition on the Nintendo Switch, but also Metroid Prime 4. Development started a while ago, but now it is seeking a new lead producer. That is pretty interesting regarding the status of the game. We'll talk that, and we'll also talk some very positive Switch news. Worldwide sales numbers topping 61.44 million units for the console itself. Animal Crossing New Horizon doing disgusting numbers, and we've got numbers for a bunch of other Switch titles, so we'll go over all of those. First of all, Metroid Prime 4 is seeking new lead producer. As noted on Game Rant, and noted on Retro Studios' Twitter account, we are looking for a lead producer to join us on our journey to develop Metroid Prime 4. Now, they may have many lead producers. I don't know exactly how game development works, but it's pretty interesting that all these months after, and I believe it's been upwards of a year, Retro Studios is continuing to expand the studio that is developing Metroid Prime 4. It'll be interesting to see what the status of the studio and the game itself is. Obviously, the pandemic is gonna make things very, very difficult for a lot of studios. That's why I don't put a lot of stock into development studios delaying games right now. Guys, you just have to be a little bit more accepting of that, and I, more than anybody else, seemingly get upset about delays, but the world is in a crazy situation right now that if you need to reshake up development studios, if you need more hands in the project, I wouldn't look too much into that given the climate of the world that we're in, but still, I think this is making a little, this is causing a little bit of uncertainty regarding Metroid Prime 4, because Metroid is a franchise that so many people hold near and dear to their heart. When Metroid Prime 4 was first announced, people went absolutely crazy for it, because this has been something that people wanted for the longest time, and ultimately, I do think that it's going to turn out to be a great game. Nintendo always delivers quality first-party experiences, and I don't think that this is going to be any different. However, if it takes them quite a bit of time to get it out the door, let it be. Let them cook up something special here with Metroid Prime 4. Don't get too eager about it, especially because sooner rather than later, we are going to get that Metroid Prime Trilogy HD collection. I am guaranteeing you guys at some point that's going to happen. Otherwise, Nintendo is making one of the biggest fumbles that I could remember a studio or publisher making, given that Metroid is an iconic franchise, but you also want to introduce it to that, north of 60 million people that have a Switch, and Metroid has been MIA for so long. When did Prime 3 come out? All the way back in 2007. I know that there have been other games like Metroid Other M, the 3DS title, but expecting everybody to play all of those games I think is a little bit foolish. All for Metroid Prime Trilogy. It's probably not going to be this gargantuan undertaking that is going to require a lot of resources to actually get out the door. You can charge $50 to $60 for it, and it's going to sell really, really well. You get to make a boatload of money, and then you also get to market Metroid to a new audience of consumers. It's a win-win all around the board. And I really hope that happens sooner rather than later, but as far as Metroid Prime 4, they are in Retro Studios seeking a new lead producer, so that's pretty interesting. Alright, moving on from that, Switch worldwide sales updates. The console itself has topped 61.44 million units, which is crazy given that this console is only 3 years old at this point. It came out back in like March of 2017. That's not a long time at all, and that's like 3 years and 3 months. June 30th, 2020 is the period we're looking at, up to June 30th, 2020, and yeah, that's a huge, huge number. Obviously, Switch these days, month to month, the best-selling console. We'll see how that shakes up once the PlayStation 5 and Series X are released, but the console is doing incredibly well, especially coming off of the Nintendo Wii U, which obviously wasn't that great, but nevertheless, a total of 5.67 million Switch hardware and 50.43 million software were sold during the 3 months that ended June 30th. That's between March 30th to June 30th. Nintendo did not alter its previously announced forecast that it'll sell 19 million Switch units between April 2020 and March 2021. That is the fiscal year. Nintendo also shared updated sales numbers for first-party Switch titles. The top 10 best-selling titles are these: Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 26.74 million. Number 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons at 22.4. Smash Bros. Ultimate 19.99 million. Zelda Breath of the Wild 18.6 million. Pokemon Sword/Shield 18.22 million. Mario Odyssey 18.06 million. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee 12.20 million. Super Mario Party 10.94 million. Splatoon 2 10.71 million. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe 7.44 million. Ring Fit Adventure also sold 3.9 million units. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition sold 1.32 million, and Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics 1.03 million units. Now those are 3 separate from the top list. Those are just 3 more recently released games to see how those did. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition doing 1.3 million units. Successful number on that end, given that that was a remaster with new content, bear in mind. But again, something like that isn't going to be as significant significant of a release as a brand new title, so 1.32 million, very successful for that. But that's going to conclude this video. Again, Metroid Prime 4 seeking a new lead producer, or at least Retro Studios, they're looking for a lead producer, and yes, join us on our journey to develop Metroid Prime 4, so it looks like they will be undertaking Metroid Prime 4 work, and Switch worldwide sales are doing incredibly well right now. Like, if you guys don't comprehend these sales numbers, they are ridiculously high, and it just goes to show how strong Nintendo software releases are. But that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.